Okay, Shannon, put us on the record, please.
Okay.
Okay, this is the matter of Fagan versus Fagan. Mr. Hilderly is present for the plaintiff. Ms. Fleming is present for the defendant. Ms. Dungan, LGAL, is
Here we go.
now present. I have one party. I'm assuming this is Alexis Fagan, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we're waiting on Mr. Fagan, unless he's with you, Mr. Hilderly.
He is here, Your Honor, with me.
Okay, very good. Anything preliminary, counsel?
This is my first Zoom trial, Judge. So as far as Ann and I have exchanged exhibits, I don't know how we want to, some of them are text messages. I don't know how we want to necessarily introduce these. And I know that each of us have some videos that I don't know that I'll be able to play them for the camera because I'm doing this on my phone anyway. So I don't know if that's something that we can send to you to review or how you want to handle those types of things.
These videos are on your phone?
They are.
Well, I guess you could email that and I could try to play it. And I'm assuming these have been exchanged already?
No.
All right, I'd have to have some kind of offer of proof. Let me just verify which exhibits I have. I've got Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Which appears to have 3 pages. Plaintiff's 2, which is a single page. Plaintiff's 3, which is 2 pages. Plaintiff's 4, which looks like a series of medical bills. Plaintiff's 5, single page of text messages. Plaintiff's 6, looks like some school-related information. 4 pages. Plaintiff 7, more school data. Also 4 pages. Plaintiff's 8, single page. Plaintiff's 9 and plaintiff's 10. Is that 10 document exhibits, all of your exhibits, Mr. Hilderly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any objection to any of these exhibits, Ms. Fleming?
Yes, I would object to plaintiff's proposed exhibits 6, 7, and 8 as hearsay unless there's expected testimony from Mr. Fagan that he prepared and compiled these himself. They would be hearsay. I'm guessing that the bills he can address those.
We'll wait for a foundation on those, but there being no objections to 1 through 5, those are admitted. I'll have Shannon initial and mark each of these. And for the defendant, let's see what I've got here.
Judge, do you want me to put another sticker on here? Can I just mark?
You can
this?
just mark what's there.
All right.
I've got A, B, C, D, E, F, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and S.
Did you not, I sent them in 4 different attachments, Judge. What about G, H, and I?
I somehow missed that. Peter, would you see if you can find those? Oh, wait a minute. They were out of order. Yes, I have G, H, and I as well. I'll put them in the
Okay.
right place.
Okay,
Mr. Hilderly, do you have any objections to any of the defense exhibits?
No, Your Honor.
There being no objection, A through S are admitted.
thank you.
We'll deal with the videos and with exhibits 6, 7, 8 as you encounter them in your testimony. Give me just a moment. I gotta put these in the right place. Is there anything else preliminarily, counsel?
Not from me, Your Honor.
Do either of you wish to make an opening statement?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And as I had indicated, this being my first go-around with the Zoom trial, what I had planned on doing was delivering my opening statement on camera. And then when I call Mr. Fagan to testify, I was going to turn the camera on him and then just ask questions off camera.
That'll work as long as I can hear both of you. No problem.
Thank you. Your Honor, this is obviously a divorce trial. While we do have a few property issues to resolve, the main issues that we're going to ask the court to decide today are custody, parenting time, and then ultimately which school district the party or the party's 2 minor children will attend. We believe that there is an established custodial environment in this case where the children have spent equal time with each parent. I think the evidence will show that Mr. Fagan was the primary caregiver during the party's marriage, as Mrs. Fagan, made a decision that she wanted to live the single life, and she spent time away from the family, engaging in extramarital affairs. Because there is an established custodial environment, there would have to be a showing of clear and convincing evidence that any proposed modification would be in the best interest of the minor children. We believe that the evidence is going to show that the parties should continue to share equally in the custody and care of the children. However, we understand that based on these proposed exhibits, that there's going to be a lot of back and forth and evidence that suggests that these parties can't get along together very well. And so if the court decides that, in the court's opinion, the parties cannot co-parent, we believe that it would be in the best interest of the children for Mr. Fagan to have primary physical custody. He has demonstrated the disposition and ability to care for his children. He's done this consistently throughout their lives. He has been stable in his home, his job. He's consistently prioritized the children. I know that there's going to be these allegations and concerns regarding Mr. Fagan's perceived anger issues. This is a situation, this is a divorce involving infidelity on the part of Mrs. Fagan. Obviously, that infidelity has caused anger and distress and sadness in Mr. Fagan. You're going to see in Mr. Fagan's discourse with Mrs. Fagan that his anger and distress and sadness does come through in that discourse. But what you're going to also see is that none of that affects his relationship or ability to parent his children. None of that has been directed to the children. He has a strong bond with his children, and the sort of anger and sadness has certainly been directed towards Mrs. Fagan. Mrs. Fagan has decided to settle in Stockbridge, Michigan. The children have always lived in Jackson, leading up to, obviously, when the parties separated. They've been spending some time in Stockbridge, but historically they've lived in Jackson. Mr. Fagan has family here in Jackson, and the kids are used to being around his family. Mrs. Fagan, we're anticipating she's going to ask the court to have the children enrolled in Stockbridge schools. This would be problematic with Mr. Fagan living in Jackson. It would make it difficult for him to exercise midweek time and get the kids to school. It would cause some problems and essentially make it difficult for the parties to have equal parenting time. Mr. Fagan is proposing that the children attend school in Grass Lake. That is a middle ground, would allow both parties to have equal parenting time. The schools are not dissimilar. They're actually fairly similar school districts. They're a little bit smaller and compare favorably with each other. They are both comparable to each other, I should say. At the end of the proofs, we're going to ask the court to continue the equal parenting time that both parties are exercising currently. We're going to ask that the court have the children attend Grass Lake schools. And in the alternative, if the court decides that a co-parenting situation isn't possible because of the way the parties have been dealing with each other, we would ask the court to find that it's in the best interest of children to be in the primary care of Mr. Fagan. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Fleming, do you wish to make any statement at this time?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This is a short-term marriage. The parties were only married in October of 2016. They were relatively young. They already had one son, Corbin, who at that point was almost 2 years old. And shortly thereafter, they had their daughter, Millie. The minor children are now 5.5 and 3.5, and they are beautiful, busy children. And unfortunately, Corbin and Millie are caught in the middle of this custody battle. This has been a volatile relationship from the beginning. As stated in our trial brief, Mr. Fagan filed for divorce back in 2018 here in Jackson County. The case was dismissed after a few months. The parties reconciled. but they were separated, as you'll hear from the testimony again, by February of 2019. At that point, the parties had picked out a house in Stockbridge. They were having it refurbished, and Mrs. Fagan, who is from Stockbridge, was living there with family. She filed a divorce action in Ingham County, and after a few months, the parties again reconciled. However, the verbal abuse had escalated to physical abuse. Mr. Fagan was arrested in June of 2019. He was charged with domestic violence in 55th District Court. And he then, on the eve of filing the instant action here in Jackson, he again perpetrated violence on my client and damaged the house, as evidenced in Exhibits G, which are the pictures of the home. Tore up the home, filed this action, and here we are. The parties have been in Stockbridge. They picked out a home there. That is where my client is from. That is where she has family connections. The evidence will show, the testimony will reveal that the established custodial environment is with the mother. Yes, Mr. Fagan loves these children. The children love him, but they are afraid of him. And he is good for short periods of time. He is not able to parent or sustain stability on a long-term basis. The text messages will make it quite clear to the court that there is an anger issue on the part of Mr. Fagan. He needs some assistance. That's why the court ordered the parties to attend conflict resolution counseling through a healing place or family service and children's aid. When we first adjourned this trial a few months ago, Mr. Fagan refused to follow through. As you can see in Exhibit A from a healing place, he refused to contact them and follow through. My client has tried to co-parent with her husband, and those attempts have been met with foul language, at the best, at worst with arguments. Even as recently as last night, Mr. Fagan tried to discuss this case with her during the parenting time exchange. She provides the stability. This is not a marriage that is falling apart because of infidelity. And it's rather ironic that Mr. Fagan points that finger as he's living with his girlfriend, who is by Facebook accounts 25 weeks pregnant today. So I think you need to hear the evidence and hear certainly from the lawyer guarding ad litem, and it will be clear that in the best interests of Millie and Corbin, they should reside full-time with their mother. This is not a case, definitely not for co-parenting, and there's no reason for these children to go out of town to a school that neither party resides in the district when they can go to a school 3 minutes from their house where they have family, grandparents, and aunts and uncles close by. There's some small financial issues that we also have to issue, but at least I would agree with Mr. Hilderly that the primary issues are custody, parenting time, and child support. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dungan, I'm assuming you don't want to make a statement at this time, but I wanted to at least give the opportunity if you had something to say.
Yeah, you're correct, Your Honor. I would like to reserve my comments till the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hilderly, call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Jacob Fagan.
Mr. Fagan, would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
State your full name, please. You can put your hand down.
Jacob Edward Fagan.
Go ahead, Mr. Hilderly.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you hear me okay off camera?
I can. If I have trouble, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fagan, where do you reside?
Jackson, Michigan.
Where in Jackson?
619 Wayne Street.
And how long have you lived there?
There since the divorce, like probably 4 or 5 months, 6 months.
And prior to that residence, you lived in Jackson while you were married?
Yes, 344 North Horton Street.
And your wife Alexis and the 2 kids lived with you there at that residence?
Correct. Yes.
How long were you, how long did you live there?
5 years.
At your current residence, how many bedrooms do you have?
3.
And where do Corbin and Millie sleep when they're with you?
They have a room together. Basically, that's just the way they feel more comfortable.
And you have plenty of room for them if they were to live with you?
For their separate rooms.
Well, you have room for them and they have places to sleep at your house?
Yes, sir.
And where are you employed?
Modern Waste System.
How long have you worked there?
9.5 years.
And what is your position there?
A driver.
What duties?
Make sure that I get my routes done complete. Yeah.
And what's your current?
So Mr. Hilderly, I did not hear your question.
The last one?
Right.
I asked him what his duties were in his position at his work.
All right, and I did hear his answer.
What is your current relationship status?
Occupied.
Dating, you're in a dating relationship with somebody?
Correct. Yes.
And with whom are you in a relationship with?
Harmony Markham.
And how long have you been together?
About 5-6 months.
And do you, the 2 of you, obviously don't have any children in common if you've only been together 5 or 6 months, but I understand she's pregnant.
Correct. Yes.
And what's the due date?
November 18th.
Other than Corbin and Millie, do you have any other children?
No, sir.
Will you have room or will there be any problems when the new baby arrives? We have room for everybody? Here we do. Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
I did not hear an answer.
You didn't hear an answer to the last
Your
question?
last question.
The one about having room for after the baby is born?
Yes,
Yes, I do have room.
thank you.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime? You have a criminal conviction?
Mr. Hilderly?
Yeah, sure.
We're having sound difficulties. I wonder if you could mute your phone and put us on a separate speakerphone, and I can dial you in, and hopefully we will have better sound.
I can try.
Do you have a desk phone in your office?
I do, but we're not in my office. I'm going to give you a number to dial in and put it on speakerphone. It's 517 581
3910.
3910.
All right, I'll dial that now. Then you'll need to mute the computer or the phone you're communicating with Zoom with.
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear us okay?
We're getting feedback. You've got to turn the volume down on your phone as well.
How's that?
I think that's better, and then put the phone between you so we can hear both of you.
Okay.
We're still getting feedback over the computer.
I have the phone muted and turned the volume all the way down on the phone.
I think that worked. All right, go ahead and ask your next question.
My last question to Mr. Fagan was, I asked him if he had any criminal convictions.
Yes.
And when was that?
I was convicted of domestic violence against Alexis last year in June.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Do you use any controlled substances?
No, sir.
Do you have any mental disabilities?
No, sir.
Do you have any physical disabilities?
No, sir.
Can you describe for the court the relationship between Harmony and Corbin and Millie?
Oh, that's great. They love her. I mean, at times I feel like they like her more than they do myself, but
And are Corbin and Millie excited about the new baby?
yes, they can't leave my house without telling the new baby goodbye, including the baby sister and on everything, which is Harmony's belly.
You heard Ms. Fleming talk about the fact that there was a previous divorce filing, that you had filed for divorce previously.
Yes.
And what happened? What was the circumstances? Why did you file, and what happened with that?
Oh, I ended up finding out that Alexis was unfaithful and she was, going around, not going to work and going out to parties and whatnot. And, so I divorced her. And then 2 months later, I decided to give her another chance because I would rather fight with her to gain 100% of my kids than to fight with her and lose 50% when, it's like my kids are my pride and joy.
So you attempted to reconcile,
Yes, only for the kids.
and how did that go?
We were together for, another 5-6 months. And then one day I got a call from her dad stating that he had the kids. And it blew my mind because, Alexis told me that she and the kids.
Hold it. We got an objection.
Okay.
The objection's hearsay. Is there a response, Mr. Hilderly?
Hearsay about what her dad said?
Yes.
I'm not sure that's the important part of the story. I think he can just, what was the reason that things fell apart after you reconciled?
Oh, she was just unfaithful the entire time that we're back together the second time.
Okay.
And her dad got tired of, sorry.
You can't say anything that her dad told you.
Okay. Well, it should be in the police report of them pictures she's got against me.
That's okay. I really was just trying to find out why things broke down again.
Okay.
Basically, you're saying her continued incident caused
Yes.
problems in the marriage.
Yes.
Now, when she was out with other people, where were the kids?
With me at home.
And you were providing, you were the primary caregiver during this time period?
Yes, sir.
Now, you have some debts that were acquired during the marriage that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Could you just take a look at these and let the court know what those are?
Okay, all of them are the city taxes from the 5 years that we lived in Jackson. Alexis filed our taxes every year, and apparently she wasn't paying them.
So you have some income tax owed to the city of Jackson for your return that you filed jointly with Alexis.
Yes.
And what is the balance owing to the city of Jackson?
It's like $2,000 right around there. I've got two different answers. Apparently the city excluded 2014s and they dismissed it for me. And that brought it to $1,900, but they did not include 2018s because Alexis filed our taxes through TurboTax, and that has nothing to do with the city. So they don't even have the 2018 on file.
But you think it's about $2,000 that's owing in income tax to the city of Jackson?
Yes, it's $1,900 just off of 2015, 2016, and 17.
And there may be an amount owing for 18, but you don't know what that is, right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, because we definitely live in the city still.
Okay.
So, just to make sure I don't lose sight of this, if I add up the balance from the each of the 3 pages of Exhibit 1, I'll come up with the same number that Mr. Fagan just testified to?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. And this is for years 15, 16, and 17. There may be an amount owed for 18, but we don't know what it is yet.
Thank you.
Mr. Fagan, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit number 2. Your Honor, I apologize. As I look at the exhibit, when I printed it out, it cut off the top portion that shows that it was from Consumers Energy. I do have the full exhibit that I can email to everybody if we need it later, but it just cut off the top of it. It showed the Consumers Energy letterhead.
No objection, Judge. My client and I, that's what we figured what it was.
Mr. Fagan, can you look at exhibit number 2 and tell the court what this is?
That is the consumer's bill because I supplied Alexis with money to pay, the bills as she had the debit card. So I give her the money to put in her bank account to use her debit card to pay like the consumer's energy. And it turns out the last 3 months of living in Jackson, she did not pay that bill. So when we separated and I went to get me a new house, I had to pay off that full balance in order to even start consumers again.
Okay, so that's an amount that has been paid at this point, but you had to pay the full amount.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit number 3. Can you let the court know what that is?
That is a loan that Alexis went to take out for her insurance on her vehicle and damage repair. She had some damages to her car. Something happened to it, and she tried withdrawing, $2,500, and she got denied it. So I co-signed on it. And then shortly after we split up, so she quit paying on it, and it went back on me, and now I owe it.
And that's an amount that's owing to Aeroquip Credit Union?
Yes, but the full amount that we owe them is the $3,300 because of the interest.
Okay, and that's an amount that's outstanding and still owed to Aeroquip Credit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit number 4. Your Honor, just if I may provide some explanation. He had been told by somebody at Michigan Medicine there was a balance owing. We asked for the bill to show that. This is what we've been provided. As I look through it, it looks like it tells us that there isn't a balance owing. I guess what we're trying to establish for purposes of the trial is that there was at some point treatment at Michigan Medicine for Corbin, and there may or may not be a balance owing, and we would just ask the court to assign joint liability on any amounts owing to Michigan Medicine. So the exhibit itself, in my mind, shows that there isn't a balance owing, but he has been told by somebody at Michigan Medicine that there is.
Okay,
Judge,
So
can I respond?
if you have some additional information about that, please do.
Well, I guess, I mean, a lot of these charges on this statement go back to 2012, long before the parties were married, and before Corbin was born. A lot of it has to do with Mr. Fagan preserving his sperm. And I don't think that my client should be responsible for any financial charges to that end. And it appears that there is no obligation for treatment for Corbin.
and we agree with that, Judge. This was something that they provided us at the last minute. We would certainly agree that any amounts that were incurred prior to the marriage would not be marital debt. Mostly this focuses and is related to Corbin's treatment, and that's really what we're focused on.
Did Corbin receive treatment during the period encompassed by these bills at University of Michigan Medicine?
Yes.
As I flip through these, I don't see Corbin's name on anything.
Page 1 of 3. Page 1 of 2. The charges, I think it was 17, Judge, in 2017. Those are the
Okay,
only,
I see those now. All right, well, in any event, this shows nothing owing, so it's kind of hard for me to award anything based upon Exhibit 4.
Your Honor, we're not asking the court to award anything. This is money that has not been paid. So all we're asking the court to do is, if there is an amount owing to Michigan Medicine as a result of Corbin's treatment, we're just asking that the court state that that would be a joint liability.
and Judge, if there are any outstanding bills for healthcare services for the children, I don't think it should be a 50-50 premise. I think it should be treated just like any other bill under the terms of the current child support order, with whatever the ordinary medical amount is first being paid by Mrs. Fagan, and then whatever percentages is based on their incomes, not 50-50.
No, Your Honor, that wouldn't be accurate, because this was something that happened while they were married, not something that happened after the fact, and not something that was subject to any support order. This would be a debt that was incurred during the marriage and would not fall under any support order that came after the fact.
Well, certainly.
All right, I understand your respective positions on that issue. Let's save it for the end.
Okay. Now, Mr. Fagan, at some point, did you purchase a vehicle from Alexis's grandmother?
Yes, I bought a 2002 Ford Escape because her grandma bought Alexis a new vehicle, and I actually liked the Escape. It's a great winter vehicle, so I bought it off her grandma for $600.
And how did you pay that?
Cash.
And this occurred while you guys were married?
Tripped.
And so I assume that because you were married, you probably didn't get a receipt or anything from her grandmother?
No.
But you did pay $600 to her grandmother. Did you ever get the title for it?
No, I did not.
And where is the Escape now?
At Alexis' house.
And are you asking the court to award that to you?
Yeah.
And can I show you what's been marked as plaintiff's exhibit number 5? And can you tell the court what this is?
This is just multiple occasions where I told, Alexis that I wanted my title so I could get it into my name because I wanted, after so long of having it and we had multiple vehicles, I like to buy and sell cars and I needed the title in order to do that. And, that's just multiple occasions where Alexis, like telling me, okay, she'll get the title. She told me, to get at her grandma to get the title. When we split up, she even told me, that I have a trailer, that I can get it off her property and get it out of there. But because the title wasn't in my name, I didn't want to take it and then them file for stolen vehicle and it'd be counted against me.
Now, Mr. Fagan, you indicated that you would like the kids to go to Grass Lake schools. Have you looked into the school district at all?
Yeah, it's a great school. They ranked in below the 200s, on academics, and I'm a huge sports guy, and that was always a tough school to play in sports, and just academically, it's hands down twice better than Stockbridge.
And did you look into what their plans are for the fall as it relates to the COVID situation?
Yeah, they're offering out both options. You can either A, go to school and work 4 days a week, I think it is, or you have the option to do at-home, face-to-face, online schooling because, I don't want to use my kids as guinea pigs, so I love that option.
So they're providing you could go face-to-face and go in person to school, or you can do an online option.
Yes, sir.
And I guess, Your Honor, as it relates to the objections for plaintiff's exhibits 6 and 7, these are records from the state of Michigan website, so I would say that they are would fall under the business record exception for hearsay. These are just reports straight from the state of Michigan website.
Ms. Fleming, do you have a response?
I'm not aware of any records exception for this kind of data. Certainly not Exhibit 8, which is something from U.S. News and World Reports.
I didn't address Exhibit 8 yet. I just said 6 and 7.
Okay. I can't see where this is from. I don't know where it was. I don't know what Michigan school data. I don't know if that's the state of Michigan or if this is. I don't know what Michigan school data is.
Well, let me see if I can pull it up on my computer. That'll tell me whether it's from an official web page or not. MI school data is found on Michigan's official, well, hold on a minute. It's mischooldata.org. Actually, it's not clear to me. Michigan School Data is the state of Michigan's official public portal for education data to help citizens, educators, and policymakers make informed decisions that can lead to improved success for our students. Whether or not there is a specific hearsay exception that applies to this information, I'm going to admit them under the general exception. This is the type of information that the court typically relies on when comparing one school to another. So I'm going to allow both Exhibit 6 and 7 into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Exhibit 8 is something off of Grass Lake's website, just indicating this U.S. News and World Report shows it's really a ranking of the high schools, so it's not particularly relevant when we're dealing with a kindergartner. It was just information that we were going to provide to the court. We can withdraw it if the court doesn't think that it's going to be helpful.
Since it doesn't do anything except address high schools,
It is just a ranking of high schools, Judge.
I wouldn't find it to be helpful to the decision I'm going to be called upon to make.
Mr. Fagan, you know, Your Honor, I think Exhibits 9 and 10 have already, I don't think there was any objection. I don't know that I can just submit these without comment unless Your Honor or Ms. Fleming wants.
I've already admitted 9 and 10 into evidence as there was no
Oh,
objection to them.
Oh, I didn't realize 9 and 10 had been admitted, okay.
I thought, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I did not address 9 and 10 initially. I can see that I only addressed 1 through 8. So, is there any objection to the admission of 9 or 10?
I guess my objection is, the Exhibit 9 specifically seems to be altered. There's information scribbled out that I can't read on my copy, and that there's no date on Exhibit 9, so I would object to the relevance. And the same thing on Exhibit 10, there's no way to verify the date, so again, I wouldn't know the relevance.
I can look to see on the original if the part that's redacted I did to spare Ms. Fleming's client from embarrassment. I'm happy to put it out there if she wants it out there. It's just a comment that I thought wasn't really necessary and would just sort of unduly embarrass the defendant in this case. I'm happy to produce the original if Ms. Fleming wants me to.
Or if you can text me.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what's missing.
Well, I'm happy to tell you if you want.
Judge, are we on the live? Are we live on YouTube?
We are live on YouTube.
I guess I would defer to my client. Do we need to know what's scribbled out in Exhibit 9?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I guess my objection only goes to the date, and if Mr. Hilderly is going to inquire of his client, or I will.
I can ask him when it was sent. It looks like it was just chopped off. I'll produce it. Can you look at exhibit number 9, please?
Okay, what's the question?
Well, I'm asking you to just look at it first. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
Do you recall approximately when this next conversation took place?
This was at the beginning of the divorce,
So approximately,
9 months ago.
okay. And then can you look at exhibit number 10 as well?
Okay.
Oh, that actually has the date on it. I'm sorry. That one says March 15th.
Which year?
Do you recall, was it March 15th of this year?
No, that one was last year after the first divorce.
Okay, and then how about the conversation in 9? Was that approximately the same time?
I don't recall. That was so much stuff was left each other.
But you think that the conversation in exhibit 9 was approximately 9 months ago?
Yeah, it was, right between one of the two.
All right, I would just ask for the admission of exhibits 9 and 10, Your Honor.
I don't have any objection, Your Honor. I can cross-examine him and I can just review with my client.
All right, 9 and 10 are admitted.
Mr. Fagan, can you just describe for the court your relationship with the kids?
It's terrific. There's my pride and joy. That's what I live for is them.
What sort of things do you guys do together?
It's not necessarily what we do together. It's just more or less anything I do, they're included in on. Like Tuesdays, I got softball and they go with me, and they're right there cheering me on. And once we're done with that, we'll hang out after all the softball teams leave, and we'll play on the field ourselves. And like we got mud bogging on the weekends, where they want to ride with. And everybody knows that when the kids go off and play on their own, they're doing what Dad does. They're playing mud bog, they're playing the softball. And, just anything I do, I try to expose them to.
Are there times when the kids have issues or problems? Who do they talk to? What do they do?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, just if there's an issue or a problem, do they come and talk to you about it? Or
Yeah,
and I know they're younger, so their issues and problems might be small.
Yeah, they come to me, about everything, whether it's, their butt itches because they didn't wipe fully, or, it's just, any issue that they have, they're right there telling me about it. Usually, like you said, they're young, so it's something minor. But, for example, one of the situations where Alexis called the cops and tried to file harassment on myself, my son, when I picked him up, he had a cut right on his eye. And I asked him where it was, and he said that Alexis's friend.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
It's CPS. It's been filed. It's under CPS report. As far as I know, it's still open.
I don't have any comment on.
No further questions?
No, I didn't. She made an objection and I didn't have a comment to it. I didn't know if the court.
I thought I ruled on the objection, did I not?
I didn't hear anything.
I heard
Maybe
you
it
say,
was obvious. It was a valid objection. I sustained
Okay.
it.
Mr. Fagan, when the children are with you, do you prepare the meals for them?
Yeah. Every day, 6:30.
Do you help them get ready for bed, take baths, stuff like that?
Yes, sir. That's a daily routine. You know, we'll take baths, brush teeth, and then we go into the room and I sing to them to sleep. I've done it their entire lives.
And you do have a family as far as you've got siblings, is that correct?
Yeah, I got a big family.
And also cousins that you're close with?
Yes, sir. My whole intermediate family is all very close. We're all right here in Jackson, so.
And the kids spend time with your extended family?
Correct.
What sort of things, do they have cousins or what sort of things do they do?
I mean, it's technically my cousin's kids, but I mean, that's just, you know, I'll go to my cousin's house for barbecues and whatnot, or just hang out so the kids can play and interact with other kids. Because, you know, like I said, I try to expose them to everyone possible.
And you had indicated that you're employed. Do you have the ability to provide for the kids financially?
Yes, I've done that their entire lives. The whole time that we were married and together, we never had WIC, food stamps, anything like that. I had to buy every can of formula that they ever had. And basically, you know, I'm fully against relying on any type of help. And so that's.
And you've been in your job for quite a while now, 9 years plus?
Yeah. I only had one job before that, and that was 6 years.
And prior to the relationship breaking up, you had lived in your residence for 5 years. Is that what you had indicated?
Before or something? Yes.
And the kids lived with you during that time period. They lived in that residence with you during that time
The
period.
entire time, yes.
So you did have to recently move because of the separation, but prior to that, they had lived with you in that environment.
See, all that was between the two divorces. We split up the first time, and her grandma bought a house for her, but then she got back with me, and she moved back to Jackson. And then it's said in the old text out of her words, you know, that if I didn't get rid of my dog, then she was leaving me. And she ended up moving back to Stockbridge. So I was stuck with the decision, you know, either A, move to Stockbridge, or B, lose my family. And I moved out there, and, you know, 2 months later is when I found out that she was unfaithful the entire time we were back together the second time.
So when Ms. Fleming indicates you moved to Stockbridge, you that was a very short period of time.
Yeah, and that had nothing to do with an agreement or my say. She knew what she was doing behind my back.
Have there been instances where Alexis has been physically violent with you?
Yes, sir.
And how about verbally abusive?
Yes, sir.
And do you feel that you'll be able to get the kids to school on time? Any issues with that?
Yeah, no, I never had an issue. Even, when they were going out to Stockbridge, I adjusted my whole work schedule to get them all the way out to Stockbridge, which is 40 minutes away from myself. So her saying that I neglected to get the kids to school is all, a lie. She has no proof of that. And it's just, yeah.
And you feel like you'll be able to help them with their homework and stuff like that as it comes up. I know that they haven't really been in school very much. Corbin just went to like a preschool last year, right?
Yeah, she enrolled him into preschool after we separated because it was stated by her grandma that, the court's not going to remove him from school.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
Are you willing to work with Alexis and co-parent with her?
Yeah.
Are you capable of doing that? I know that there's obviously some issues between the two of you. Are you able to put that behind you and move forward and co-parent?
Yeah, basically, I've tried that, but it's like she's always there trying to push my buttons, trying to get me messed up, to have something against me. But I've done nothing to hurt her. I've only been trying to defend myself this entire time. Yeah, there's, bad text, but that was like way back when we, I found out the love of my life wasn't only my love.
And you haven't denied her or kept the children from her, have you? But was there a time when she kept the children from you?
Yes, when we first separated, the second time, we agreed to continue our custody order as if it was ordered the first time we divorced, which was a 2-2-3 schedule. And then all of a sudden, like 5 weeks later, I went to pick the kids up from daycare on my day, and it turned out that she ended up picking them up. And when I got a hold of Raptor to go get them, she denied giving them to me. She stated that she quit her job to prevent a lunatic like me from having the kids. And then she kept them from me for 6 weeks. I've called her, texted her, I don't know how many times every day. I showed up to her house with the police. The police couldn't do nothing because without a court order, they couldn't remove the kids from a parent. And basically, and then the other time I showed up with them, she wasn't home. But 6 weeks I went without the kids.
And you provided me with a video that shows when you were reunited with
Yeah, when we finally got a court order and granted the kids, she didn't even reach out to me. She reached out to my brother and gave the kids to my brother. So my brother hit me up and told me that he has my kids. So as soon as I got out of work, I shot straight over there. And turns out his girlfriend was recording the reunite between myself and my kids.
And that's one of the videos that you're asking the court to review.
Yes, because in that video you can see, that obviously my kids have strong love for me, and I'm not this bad guy that I keep being put out to be.
And you reviewed that video, and it's an accurate representation of what happened.
Yes.
You have a couple of other videos that you asked to be produced to the court. And these are videos I believe that you took, correct?
Yeah, one of the videos is because just recently, like last week when we did the kid transaction, my son was crying because he didn't want to go to my house. And, she's sitting there recording his reaction. But then once I got in the car, you know, like I asked him, like, why are you crying? You don't want to come to my house. And it turns out, you know, he said because I don't let him watch
Objection, Your Honor,
YouTube.
hearsay.
Well, this is just a description of the video. The video will speak for itself, Your Honor. I'm just trying to establish what the video is so that we're going to ask that they be admitted and that you review them.
All right.
And I only,
That objection is sustained.
And without necessarily telling us what's in the video, you've provided another video, and this is one that you took personally.
yeah, so my daughter just not wanting to go back to her mom's, you know.
So, Your Honor, I understand Ms. Fleming hasn't seen the videos. I don't know how we want to deal with having them introduced. If you just want to pass on that issue for right now. I know that she has some videos that I haven't seen, so I'm not sure you want to deal with those before I stop with his testimony.
You've laid a foundation for the videos. I think before you show them to me, in fairness, Ms. Fleming should have the opportunity to see them. And then, unless there's something patently objectionable about them that she wants to object to, then I can view them after she's had a chance to see them. I'm assuming Ms. Dungan is going to want to see these videos as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's save the exchange of the video until a little bit later. I will certainly allow you to supplement the record with those.
Okay, thank you, Judge. At this point, Your Honor, I would just, I don't have any further questions. I would just reserve the right to recall Mr. Fagan for rebuttal purposes.
Okay, cross-examination, Ms. Fleming.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Fagan, as long as the exhibits that you produced are right there, let's take a look at them. Can you look at your exhibit number 1, please? Do you have it in front of you?
Yes,
And isn't this is a tax bill for the tax year of 2015, correct?
2015, yes.
You weren't married to Alexis then, were you? Didn't you get married
No, but we
in
lived in the
October of
same house together.
2016?
Yeah, we filed a joint return.
And you can't,
I don't think so.
this is addressed to you only, not to the both of you. So isn't this bill your own separate sole responsibility? I'm sorry, I didn't hear an answer.
Yeah,
So Alexis is not responsible for that $504.16.
yeah,
Okay, exhibit, or the second page of that exhibit, that's for the tax year of 2017.
correct.
You say you've been employed by Modern Waste for 9.5 years?
9.5 years, yes.
Okay. And isn't it true that the address that your employer uses for you is your mother's address at 3208 Louetta Avenue in Jackson, Michigan?
Yeah, just so they get free trash.
So you get your mom free trash removal, right? Yes?
That's just my address through my work on my check stubs.
Right. So when your employer thinks you live at your mother's, what township is that in?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is that Leone Township? What township does your mother live in?
Michigan Center.
She doesn't live in the city of Jackson, does she?
Not city, but I mean, Michigan Center is technically Jackson.
It's Jackson County,
It's not
but
city
you
limits.
understand this tax obligation you are asking your wife to pay is for the city, not Jackson County. It's for the city of Jackson because you lived in the city of Jackson. But your employer thinks that you live in Michigan Center, so they're not deducting or withholding city taxes from your pay, are they?
Correct.
So isn't it true that after you owed in 2015, Alexis said you need to change your withholding, you need to tell your employer where you actually live so they can withhold the correct amount of tax?
No,
No?
Alexis ain't said nothing. No.
Okay. But you are committing fraud by having your mother get free trash removal because your employer thinks that you live with her. So they're not withholding city tax. So now you want Alexis to be responsible for the fraud you're perpetrating on your employer? Are you looking at your attorney for the answer, sir?
No, I'm looking up at you from the paper.
It's a problem, isn't it?
I don't understand it all. Correct, yes. I mean,
So your
lived
employer's
in the
not
city,
withholding
we
the
both
tax
owned it.
that you need to pay. And that's why you owe city tax.
yeah,
Okay, you live in the city now, don't you?
I've lived in the city the whole time I knew her.
But not according to your employer. They've had you listed at your mother's address the whole time you've worked there, haven't they?
Yeah,
So this is a problem you created, right?
I don't understand that question because, sure.
So Alexis shouldn't have
I mean,
to,
regardless,
pay
I'd still
your
be paying that whether I was
tax.
getting it pulled out of my checks or not.
I'm sorry?
If it was getting pulled out of my checks, I'd still have to pay city taxes at the end of the year.
If they were withholding the city tax all along, you wouldn't know anything at the end of the year. That's how it's supposed to work. Do you really think that Alexis should be responsible for this debt?
Yeah, she lived in the city too. I mean, you know, she relied on me, you know, she's had I don't know how many jobs. Was she getting city taxes taken out of hers? No, because she used her grandma's address in Stockbridge.
Okay, well, we'll ask her about it when she gets a chance to testify. But you were the major breadwinner and you weren't having the proper taxes withheld.
No.
Okay, let's look at Exhibit 2 that you've proposed, that's been admitted, the consumer's bill. So what, this bill represents what span of months? Can you tell us?
What is what?
What does that amount, $1,251.25, what does that represent? Service for which months?
That represents the last 3 months that her and I were together that I gave her the money to pay the consumer's bill, and it turns out she wasn't doing it. Because I don't have a debit card, so if we used her credit card to make all the bill payments.
So what
And
3
she
months,
didn't do it.
which 3 months specifically, sir?
The last 3 months we were in that house.
So you're saying June, July, and
I was
August,
currently
June,
living
July,
with
August, and
her
September?
in Stockbridge.
Hold on. I can't-
Stockbridge,
Hold
but
on,
I still have
hold
the house.
hold on. I can't have both of you talking at the same time.
Sorry.
So, Ms. Fleming, would you re-ask your question? And Mr. Fagan, would you wait until she's done before you start to answer?
Yes, sir.
So specifically state the 3 months that this bill represents.
I don't have that in front of me.
You don't know?
No, the last 3 months that I had that house, it was the 3 months that I lived with her in Stockbridge, but because of the first time, with her cheating, I didn't really necessarily let my house go. I still had my house in my possession while living with her in Stockbridge, and I gave her the money to pay my consumer's bill for the house in Jackson, and she wasn't doing it, so.
But you can't tell us which months you're referring to.
I mean, let's see, the due date was September 11th, so June, July, August, September.
June, July, August, September, that's 4 months. So
Thank
which
you.
months? July, August,
I would
September?
have to get all the way to find out.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Let's say July, August, September. I mean,
Okay.
does it,
So July, August, and September of 2019? Last
Yeah.
year? Yes.
yeah.
So you're saying that Alexis should be responsible for the consumer's bill at your house in Jackson after you were convicted by your own earlier testimony, you were convicted of domestic violence against her and she was living in Stockbridge?
Yeah, because I was living with her that whole time. There wasn't real domestic violence.
You were living with her in Stockbridge?
Yes,
Okay.
for 3 months. I gave her the money. I paid my bill.
Okay. Do you have any proof of that other than the consumer's bill that didn't get paid?
Yeah, the fact right here, that was $1,251. Once I left her and I went back to Jackson, I couldn't put consumers back in my name till that amount was paid.
So let's move to Exhibit 3. Do you have that in front of you?
It's going.
You're aware that Alexis is paying this bill.
That what?
She's paying this bill, correct?
I don't know.
You're not
I
paying
know
this
that
bill?
it's affecting my credit. I can't get a loan out because I have this co-signature on it, and I still owe the bank.
Well, isn't it true that Alexis had to get a loan of $2,500 in order to obtain auto insurance for the both of you?
No, just for hers, and she had something wrong with her car.
And isn't it true that she was getting insurance for the both of you, and because of your poor driving record, it cost so much that she had to get a loan to pay it?
No, I have nothing on my driving record. Tickets. I got one speeding ticket, but that's it. She's got multiple accidents. That's what hurt us.
So when she got this loan last January of 19, this would have been before the second divorce filing. Isn't it true that?
No, this was after we were back together.
I'm sorry?
We were back together.
Right, after the first time, before the second time. The note date is January 10th of 2019. You see that at the top?
Yeah.
So that was after you reconciled after the first filing, before she filed the second time in Ingham, right?
Sure. I don't understand the question.
Well, you didn't let me finish. My question was, at that time, you were together and you had several vehicles, correct?
Yes, but only one on insurance. I had that Escape that I bought off her grandma and my Ford truck.
Okay.
And she had hers and her dad's.
She's willing, She's paying this, isn't that what you're asking, that she be responsible for it?
Yeah.
You haven't made any payments on it, have you?
No, but it's hurting my credit because she stopped paying on it. So the bank did try coming back after me.
Let's look at Exhibit 4. You're not in collections you're not getting collections letters or anything from Michigan Medicine, are you?
Not that I know of, no.
So there's nothing due and owing as you sit here today, correct?
Well, I object to that. He doesn't know the answer. As I indicated when I asked him questions, that someone at Michigan Medicine had indicated there was something owing to him, which is why it's being brought up.
Well, I appreciate Mr. Hilderly's testimony, but now that Mr. Fagan is under oath, I would like to hear his testimony.
Yeah, I mean, I was originally charged $7,100 something from my son overdosing in her care.
Sir,
And
my question is, have you paid anything on that bill?
no, it went to my collections.
So it's gone to collections?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes, I don't know
You don't know?
the answer to this question.
Okay.
At one time, it hurt. I
I
couldn't get
didn't
a
ask
loan
a
because
question, sir. Sir, I didn't ask any other questions.
Okay.
So let's look at Exhibit 5. So you're talking, these are texts between you and Alexis
Yes, ma'am.
from 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. The title to the escape is not in Alexis's name, is it?
No, it's in her grandma's name for insurance purposes.
Okay, so as far as I know, we're talking about Annabelle Howard, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
She's not a party to this divorce action, is she?
I mean, she's the sole provider for Alexis, but I
Sir,
don't
is
know.
she a party to the divorce action?
Is she what?
Is she a,
No.
She's not.
but you're asking the court to do what?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know?
I
Okay,
mean, there was something that was purchased from her family during the marriage.
but you
and now all of a
acknowledge
sudden,
that
no.
Alexis does not have, the title to that vehicle is not in her name, correct?
Yeah, but Alexis is proof that it was bought.
I'm sorry, do you have written proof that it was purchased?
It right in these texts. She told me to go to grandma and get the title.
Okay, so that's perhaps what you should do, right? Go to grandma
Yeah, I've
and
gone to
talk to
grandma
her?
multiple times.
I'm sorry?
I went to her grandma multiple times. But
Okay,
because
so
we
that's not
separated,
really, it's not really anything for judge to decide here this afternoon, is it?
well, no.
Okay. So these texts in Exhibit 9 and 10,
Yes,
they're from 2019?
they're from after the first divorce.
So
slash
after
beginning
that,
of getting back together.
you and she reconciled, right?
Yeah, she did after the second divorce too.
Okay, well, no, I say you. You, during the second divorce, you were represented by Mr. Hotchkiss, correct?
Yes,
And he drafted the paperwork and you stated when you signed that notice of reconciliation to the Ingham County Circuit Court that you and your wife had reconciled, right?
yeah,
Okay, so you claim that the breakdown of your marriage relationship is due to Alexis's infidelity?
twice.
You don't think it has anything to do with the domestic violence that you were convicted of against her last June of 2019?
No, ma'am.
You say that with a big smile on your face, Mr. Fagan. You think it's all her
I
fault?
thought it was all a lie. And since then, she's tried getting back with me multiple times. You know,
Okay.
she failed to show up to court. Everything was
Okay,
dropped.
sir, I
Yeah.
asked a question. Okay, so it's all her fault. Is that your testimony?
Trying to answer.
When your attorney asked you if you had been convicted of a crime, you didn't mention the assault that you were convicted of previous, did you?
I didn't know how far back we were going.
Ever,
was-
your whole life? Have you
Yeah,
been
I was at a party and I watched a guy punch a girl and I reacted. The girl was on probation, so she denied being at the party.
So what did you do?
Obviously, I defended the girl.
And how did you do
You know, if
that?
it was your daughter, I'd do the same thing.
And what did you do, sir?
I fought the guy. You know, I stopped him from continuing going after the girl that was laying on the ground.
Okay, and so your actions led to him being in a coma, correct?
No.
Did you go to
He
the
wasn't in a
hospital?
coma.
Did you go to the
He went
hospital?
hospital, yeah.
Okay, and you
Yeah.
were
But
charged?
the girl,
Hold on. I can't have you both talking at the same time. Wait for a question, sir. Please do
Yeah.
not volunteer information.
So you fought this man and he was injured
yes,
and he was hospitalized
yes,
and you were charged here in Jackson County with assault and battery?
I don't remember what I was charged with. They got dropped.
And where did you were sent to anger management classes, correct?
Hold on. You gotta wait for the question, sir.
I
Sorry,
didn't,
there's a lag.
you were sent to anger management classes, correct?
Yes,
And how long were the term of those classes?
a year, 5 months, 6 months. I don't really remember. It was over 10 years ago.
Okay, so you say you've been in a dating relationship with Harmony Markham for 5 to 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
Where did you meet her?
The bar.
And she's how far along pregnant? 6 months?
Correct.
And do you consider this a permanent relationship?
Oh, well.
A permanent relationship?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
How soon into the relationship did you introduce Harmony to your children?
About 2-3 months. You know, I asked my kids if they wanted to meet her.
And how long have you been living together?
How long have we been living together? Like 2 months.
Now, you said the children have a bedroom in your home on Wayne Street. The children are in the same
Yeah.
bedroom?
Yeah, because they choose it.
Okay, so what's the bedding arrangements? What kind of beds do they have?
They got their own separate beds on the separate side of the rooms with their toy box at each end of the bed.
Okay, so isn't it true that when your children are with you, that Millie sleeps in bed with you?
When they are with me,
Yes.
no, they sleep in their own beds.
But
They
isn't
go
it
to
true
bed at
that you,
8:30.
isn't it true that when Millie was sick this spring or this winter that you texted Alexis that when she's with you, Millie sleeps with you?
Repeat that, please.
Isn't it true that when you were texting with Alexis this winter when Millie was sick, that you texted Alexis that Millie sleeps with you when she's with you?
Yeah, it's my daughter. If she's sick and wants to lay in bed with me, then I'm not opposing that.
Just when she's sick?
Yeah, I'm a comforter to make sure she gets sleep. And if she wakes up with anything wrong, I want to be right there in case something happens.
Okay. The house on Wayne Street, do you own that?
No, I rent it.
And what's the term of your lease?
1 year.
And when did you enter into that lease?
February 1st.
And is it just you on the lease?
Yes.
Now, you said that the children are included in whatever you do. Do you ever do kids' activities?
Say it again. Sorry.
You earlier testified that your children are included in whatever you do, your softball, your mud bogging, your barbecues. Do you ever do activities for the children?
Yeah. Millie was attending a dance class in Brooklyn next to my work, you know.
When was that?
What?
When was that?
At the beginning part of the divorce.
Which
One of the
divorce?
ladies at work, you know, goes there with her kids, so we'd take Millie there. And
You talking about last fall of 2019?
Just over the winter, November, December, January, last year. I could never sign her up for anything because of all the court orders.
Do you ever discuss with Alexis activities that the kids should do?
No. There's no talking to her.
Well, you know, the court ordered you and Alexis to attend conflict resolution counseling. That's true, right?
Yeah, and I reached out to her 3 times asking about them, and all 3 times she would blow me off and tell me, oh, I'll let you know Friday. Oh, I'll let you know next week. And not once did she give me any information on when it was going to happen. She originally told me that she was scheduling it for Tuesdays, which are her days to have the kids. And I told her that's not going to work because, you know, that makes me look bad.
Isn't it true that she told you that you needed to call a healing place and set up the counseling for the 2 of you, not for Corbin, but for the 2 of you? And you said that you didn't need counseling and that she tells people too much?
I mean, yeah, I've said all along that I don't need counseling just because, you know, it is what it is. We're done and over with. I'm more worried about my kids. You know, I wanted to know if my kid was getting counseling, if he needed it, and I was more worried about him than I was myself.
So you admit that you refused to call a healing place and set up the
I
conflict
didn't refuse it,
resolution?
not once. I just never did it.
You never did it. You never
I
thought it
reached
was
out to her multiple times for my kids' sake.
okay, but you never took the step yourself after she told you to call a healing place, correct?
For me, correct.
Isn't it true that the children look to their mother for love?
Yeah, that's why not once have I tried pulling them away from her. And even after all this that she's done, all I did was ask, you know, for 50-50. She does her, I do me, because
Okay,
they need both
thank
parents.
you.
But
And isn't it true that you
What's
look
that?
to her for discipline?
no.
No? Isn't it true
No,
that
she
last
even
night,
reaches out to me when they
Hold on, sir.
isn't it
Excuse
true
me, Your
last
Honor.
night?
Hold on, everyone.
Your Honor?
I'm talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Fagan, when you are asked a yes or no question.
Oh,
You answer yes or no. If you can't answer it yes or no, then say that, but please don't add anything to the yes or no, okay?
yes, sir.
Your attorney will give you a chance later if
All right.
he wants you to elaborate, but this works a whole lot better if everybody follows the rules, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Fleming.
Thank you. Mr. Fagan, there was a parenting time exchange last night, correct?
Yes,
And isn't it true that during that exchange last night that you and Alexis discussed disciplining Corbin, correct?
Splitting what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Splitting what?
Isn't it true that?
Discussed disciplining Corbin.
yes,
And she shared with you that she was frustrated with him using the word dumb and stupid. Isn't that true?
no,
And isn't it true that she said that when he was disciplined, she would have him stand in the corner until he could tell her what he had done wrong? Correct?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Isn't it true that Alexis told you that when she disciplines Corbin, she stands him in the corner until he can tell her what he's done wrong?
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay. And you told her that you have him go to his room, correct?
No,
And didn't you also tell him that you quote, smack him in the fucking mouth?
no,
You didn't say that to her last night.
no. We had a great exchange yesterday.
And isn't it true that you tried to discuss last night these proceedings here today?
No,
You didn't try to talk about settling this and not having to proceed with trial?
no,
Now, you said when your attorney asked you about providing meals for your children, you said every day at 6:30. Is that 6:30 p.m.?
yes,
Because in the morning, you're gone to work before they have their breakfast, correct?
what?
You're
Please
gone
repeat.
to work in the morning before the children have their breakfast, correct?
Yes,
In fact, you have to punch in at work by 6 a.m., correct?
no,
No?
it's adjusted.
Well, up until now, you've gone to work at 6 a.m., correct?
Yes,
So I would show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit D. Could you please look at that? You have that in front of you?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now he has it.
So you recognize this as your time card, right?
yes,
Okay. So the entire year of 2020 through May, you punched in Monday through Friday about 6 a.m., correct?
yes,
Because you drive a garbage truck, right?
yes,
And they send you out first thing in the morning to go to do your route, correct?
yes,
And it looks like it takes you a lot longer to finish your route in the months of January, and February than it does once the weather warms up at the end of March, in April and May, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're proposing that you have joint physical custody and you want Corbin to go to Grass Lake Schools.
Yes.
You live in the Jackson Public School District, correct?
Yes.
And it's about 20 minutes at least from your home to Grass Lake Schools, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's over
Okay.
it's over 16 miles, correct? Have you
Yes.
tracked it at all?
Yes.
And so you want, and it's your proposal that you would take Corbin and later Corbin and Millie to school in the morning before you go to work?
I'd take them to daycare, and then daycare, they ride the bus to school, and Millie stays at daycare.
Okay, but you'd take them to daycare before you went to work?
Yes.
So for your proposal to work, you'd have to what? Get them up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get them dressed, put them in the truck and get them to daycare before 6 o'clock so you can punch into work at 6 o'clock?
No.
So what time do you have to be to work?
When I have the kids, while the separation is ordered, I didn't have to be work till 7. So yeah,
Okay.
I drop them off at 6:30.
So, okay, so and now you'll get them up at 5:30 and get them out the door to daycare before 6:30, so you can be at work at 7?
No, we'd wake up at 6:30. The daycare's 10 minutes, on my way to work.
You're gonna wake your kids up at 6:30, be out the door, feed them, dress them, take them to daycare and be to work by 7?
They eat breakfast at daycare. Yes, I have the clothes laid out at night, the night before. And then we leave the door, 6:30, get to the daycare right about 7. And my work works with me. I can punch in whenever. It's just
And what's the
later I
daycare
have to
that
work that day.
what's the daycare you propose?
The daycare that they attended their whole lives, which is Elena's Playhouse.
Now, isn't it true that when Corbin was at Elena's Playhouse, isn't it true that he was injured while he was there?
Yes,
And he fell, or was he injured by another child?
yes.
Which was it?
He was injured by another child.
Okay. And isn't it true that, who's the proprietor of Elena's Playhouse?
What's that?
Who's the owner who runs Elena's Playhouse?
Tammy Hackworth.
Tammy Hackworth. And isn't it true that she did not report the incident of the other child injuring your son? She didn't report it to the state as required by her license?
Objection, how does he know that?
She
Well,
removed
let's-
him from the daycare. I know that.
I'm sorry?
All right, there's an objection that this witness can't answer that question because he doesn't know.
Well, I didn't hear him say whether or not he knew.
You can ask him, I guess. Go ahead.
Mr. Fagan, do you know, did Ms. Hackworth report that injury to the state?
I do not know.
You are aware, though, that she failed to contact Alexis?
I do not know.
Did she contact you?
She contacted me after the incident happened, yes.
And didn't your son require medical treatment?
Yes.
Did he go to the hospital?
Yes.
Did he need stitches?
Yes. Yes.
And when is it that Alexis was informed of this injury at Elena's Playhouse?
While I was heading to the hospital.
You called and told her.
I called her and told her yes while I was headed there.
So you told her, Ms. Hackworth didn't tell her.
I'm unsure. I don't know.
Okay. You understand that Alexis objects to your children attending that daycare, correct?
No.
I'm sorry?
No, I did not know that, anything like that. The first
you've
time
never-
we split up,
Would
we
you
got
be,
back together and she continued taking me to the daycare.
well, when wasn't the injury just last fall?
No.
Isn't Ms. Hackworth a friend of your family's?
No.
So are you aware of what time school starts at Grass Lake Elementary?
8:30.
So it's your proposal that your children get daycare for an hour and a half before school starts?
If that's what is required, yeah. But right now I got, Harmony in the picture.
Which means what?
They would stay with her, and then she would either take them there, or I would have my mom come pick the kids up, or Harmony would take them to the daycare. But Millie would stay with her, not daycare.
You don't think that Millie needs to be in preschool this fall? She's 3.
She's only 3. No. She
Isn't
just
it,
turned 3, not even 2 months ago.
wasn't her birthday April 1st?
Okay, so yeah, 4 months ago.
Isn't it true that you and Harmony only have one running street vehicle right now?
No, we got 3.
You have 3 vehicles? Which 3 vehicles are those?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Yes, we have 3 legal vehicles, fully insured.
Okay, could you tell the court what those 3 vehicles are?
A 98 GMC Jimmy, a 2003 F250, and a 2007 Saturn Ion.
And all of those vehicles are in running condition?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's your proposal then that your kids would stay home with Harmony, and then in the morning on your days of parenting, she would take the new baby and Millie and Corbin to school?
I don't understand the question. What
Is it your proposal that if you were to have the children with you in your custody on a school day, that they would stay home with Harmony, and then Harmony would take them to school, and she would put Millie and Corbin and the new baby in the vehicle to take them to school in the morning?
Objection, Your Honor. He's already provided his testimony as to what the plan would be. Obviously, he can't say what he's going to do each and every day. He has multiple options to get the kids to school, and he's already answered these questions. She's asking for specificity that he can't provide. He can't see into the future. He has multiple options.
I think it's a fair question, and she's allowed to ask to clarify. The objection's overruled. Would you re-ask your question, Ms. Fleming?
So I think it's necessary that the court understand exactly what your plan is for the fall. So if school is in session in person, your proposal is that only Corbin go to school, correct?
Yes.
You don't want Millie to go to preschool.
I mean, she could go to preschool, but not at 3 years old.
Okay, so not this year?
No, next year, 4 years old, Sure. Obviously, if Alexis and I agree on it, Millie's plenty smart enough.
Okay, so
Shouldn't,
what, school's gonna start here soon. Do you know when Grass Lake School starts?
August, shoot. October? No, I don't. It's-
Do you know if Corbin is eligible to attend Grass Lake School since it's not your home school district?
yes, school choice.
And they are accepting students for school of choice?
Yes, ma'am.
And so do they have a plan yet, whether it's in person or at home?
Do they what?
Do they have a plan yet, whether it's in person or whether it would be at home?
I don't understand.
For the COVID, he's
Did,
already answered this, but he just didn't understand what you meant.
Because of the
Yeah, they are.
COVID-19, do they know yet, do they have a definite plan whether Corbin would go to school in person or whether he would learn online at home? Do you know?
you're offered both options.
And what is your choice?
My choice is stay at home. My kid's not a guinea pig.
Okay, so how is it that you propose if Corbin is in school or if Corbin's learning at home and you're working every day at 7 a.m., who will facilitate and guide him in his learning?
Well, I mean, I'm out of work by, noon, 1 o'clock. But Harmony, my mom, which is, Secretary of Michigan Center, I've got plenty of options.
Well, your mom's the secretary, your mom's at work, right?
Yeah, but we ain't afraid to change our schedules for the benefit of my kids.
Okay. Isn't it true that Alexis provides the clothing and food for the children?
Who?
Alexis.
No. I mean, I don't understand that. Like, she hasn't given me nothing since we split up, and I've provided everything that I have in my house right now to maintain every day I got them.
It's true that you complain about having to pay child support, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And you complain on social media, you complain on Facebook, you complain in text to Alexis. That's true, right?
I mean, they all fall into the same category, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna direct you to defendant's exhibit P.
P?
P as in
Yes.
Peter and Paul. You got exhibit P in
Okay.
front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's your Facebook post, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that from April of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you read it out loud, please?
So what do I do here? My ex robbed me of my tax money the last 2 years by having it all sent into her bank account and running off. Now the stimulus checks are being sent to her fucking account. Welcome to 2020, when a bitch cheats on you and punishes you for leaving her sorry ass every way possible. $3,400 stimulus check, not to mention the $6,000 in 2018 she ran off when doing her, and filing something in 2019 that has rejected me my return 8 times through H&R Block, how do I get my money without waiting until the courts? Because God knows when that'll be, and clearly I can use that money through this crisis.
And then you tagged her, right?
Yes.
Oh, at Alexis Page, that's her, right?
Um,
So everybody would know who you were referring to calling bitch, right?
We were together 6 years. Everybody already knew.
Oh, okay. So you think that's an appropriate way to address your disputes with the mother of your two oldest children?
Yeah, nope, I wasn't thinking rational.
Okay, so let's look at the second page of that. You recognize these as
What?
texts between you and Alexis? You got the second page?
This one I can't read. Okay, what?
You see, that's texts between you and Alexis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And on your phone, you have her contact, you call her baby moms on your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
And could you read your text to her?
If you get my stimulus check, I want my money. Apparently, it's all going off our tax returns, and you clearly fucked me out of mine the last 2 years by having it all sent into your bank account. The IRS will tell me if I received one and where it was sent to, so don't be dumb. $3,400 divided by 2 means you owe me $1,700. She
Right.
said not to contact her, to email her. She's blocking my number again. I said, laugh my ass. LMAO, I want my money. I'll keep this message for court, though. Smart move.
Okay, well, there, you got your wish. The court's seen your message. It's how you regularly converse with her in your text messaging, right?
What's that?
That type of language, that's how you speak to her when you communicate via text, correct?
Every time she screws me over, yes. I mean, I'm constantly defending myself and fighting against her for what's mine.
So is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at Exhibit Q, please. And do you recognize these Facebook posts from your Facebook account?
No, these are a message between me and her friend's boyfriend.
Oh, okay, so you admit that this is you in a conversation?
Yeah, a private message.
Okay,
Because he's
could
going
you
through the
read
same
what,
thing.
could you read what you said to the friend?
Which part?
Start at the beginning.
Well, I can't because it's all cut off.
Okay, so at the
I
top
can
of
start
the
where
page,
where he said you.
so the top of the page on the left, this is you speaking, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And just start at the top of the page.
Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. So she's rewarded them 2 days a week in the eyes of the state because they sleep there.
Okay,
He
go down
said,
to the,
boo-hoo, child support. What?
go down to the bottom of the page and read what you said in return.
I paid the bitch $300 to have the kids 4 days out of the last 19.
Okay, and the second page,
What about it?
so you describe a Smith & Wesson that you bought
Yeah.
as a divorce present to yourself?
Yeah, I freed up a lot of money.
How did you do that?
Because I lost my house and I was living with my parents at the time. That
Okay,
was a $200 purchase.
okay, so at the bottom of the page, could you read where it says, got my CPL?
Got got my CPL last week, so we're just doing big things over here. Haha. I started a cleaning business, so I needed a better appearance vehicle.
So you have a cleaning business?
No, I just said it to her friend, boyfriend, because I knew the word was going to come back to her.
Okay. So the next page,
Was the vehicle that I bought.
which vehicle is
Fixed
that?
and sold.
I'm sorry, which
What?
vehicle is that?
That's a Chrysler 300, 2003.
Okay. So your third divorce present to yourself.
Yeah, I bought a lot of divorce presents for myself and my kids. You're just not pointing them out.
Isn't it true that Stockbridge Schools sends home food at the end of the week and Alexis regularly sent that food to your house with the children?
You cut in and out. Is it true what?
Stockbridge Schools would send home food with Corbin on Thursday at the end of his school week, correct?
Yes.
And Alexis would send that food with the children to your home, correct?
No. No.
No, she never did that.
On Thursday, I picked them up from school,
Okay,
and we never got no food.
okay. Alexis has sent groceries to your home with the children, correct?
One time, yes. Oh, I didn't need them.
Okay, so you said you cook a meal for the children at 6:30?
Yes, ma'am.
So during the summer, the children aren't awake when you go to work, correct?
Are they what?
They're not awake when you go to work in the morning, correct?
No.
Because you're still going to work, you have to be there at 6?
Well, in the summertime, no. I'll start at like 4 or 5. I try to
Earlier.
get most of my work day done before they wake up.
Okay. Do you provide health insurance for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you given a card for the children to Alexis?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you do that?
About a month, 2 months ago, when I got 2 copies.
Okay. Isn't it true that at a parenting time exchange this summer that you made Corbin take his shorts off in the parking lot because you wanted the shorts to stay at your house?
No.
No?
No. No.
You don't usually bathe the children before you send them back to Alexis, do you?
They're bathed in pajamas, ready for bed every single time.
Last night too?
No, last night, no, because we give them back at 5 o'clock.
Oh, so that wouldn't be every single time then, would it?
Objection, argumentative.
I don't think it's argumentative.
No, yesterday they were wearing the clothes that I picked them up on. Our daily routine is I get the kids, go home, change their clothes. We live our days until it's time to meet her back up. I put them back in the clothes they came to my house with and give them to her the way I got them.
Okay,
Otherwise,
thank you. Isn't it true that right before you filed this divorce action in September of last year, there was an altercation at the house in Stockbridge?
I don't remember the date, but yeah, there was an altercation that required, I left.
You left because the police were looking for you, right?
No, ma'am.
They weren't looking for you because there was still a no contact order in place?
No, ma'am.
No? Isn't it true that Annabelle told you that the police were looking for you, and if they found you, they'd arrest you because the no contact order was still in place?
Yeah.
Isn't it true that both of your children are having some behavioral issues?
No.
No?
I mean, they act. No.
So you think it's okay that Millie continues to wet her pants?
No, that's not okay. But Alexis took her to the doctors and they said there's nothing wrong with her. So,
So you don't think perhaps that her regression, because she was potty trained, right?
I mean, at the age of, a year and a half, I mean, it was just, we sort of pushed it on her. Yeah. But she was never fully potty trained. It was just, that's,
She was fully potty trained last fall, right?
no, she still had accidents. Minus she had them in bed at night. Now she wakes up in the middle of the night and goes to the bathroom.
But doesn't she regularly have potty accidents? She's wetting her pants.
Does she what?
She's regularly having accidents, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't find that concerning?
Yeah, I do. That's why I've reached out to Alexis numerous times.
Okay. Do you think perhaps it's related to the stress of this ongoing divorce?
I mean, it could.
What about your son?
I
You're
know.
aware that he's having behavioral issues and acting out, correct?
No, he's not.
You don't think that he's acting out in anger and hiding before visiting? You don't think that's a problem?
He's not doing any of that.
You would agree that Corbin needs counseling, wouldn't you?
I would agree that he should talk to somebody to make sure there's no issues. Yes.
And
Which is
isn't
why.
it true that Alexis asked you to cooperate and get him signed up for some counseling?
No.
Isn't it true that there were events at school last year for Corbin and Alexis gave you notice of that and invited you to attend?
No, never.
Never. She didn't invite you to a
Never.
father's
Not once.
night with the kids?
Nope.
I would direct you to Defendant's Exhibit J.
Oh, so 2 hours before it happened.
At 1 o'clock, and it was at 5:30. So she has invited you, correct?
No, she didn't invite me. I had the kids. I was getting the kids, and then she said, "Oh, hey, Stockbridge is doing this. You can take him if you want." And obviously, I had no interest in going out there to do that. No, because he didn't even attend it.
Well, it's for dads and kids, right?
I mean, yeah,
So you chose not to attend it.
correct.
She's notified you of other events at the school too, correct?
She what?
She's notified you about other events at the school too, correct?
No,
No?
no. No.
You never attended anything at the school, did you?
No, I approved nothing about this school.
Well, it was ordered by the court that your son remain there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you just in protest decided not to participate in your son's schooling?
No, that's not what I said.
You said you approved nothing, but it was ordered by the court, right?
It was ordered by the court, yes. I didn't go do any extra activities because I felt backstabbed. And everything he was getting signed up for was through her uncle, not her.
You didn't go to any conferences?
No, I didn't even know he had any.
Did you go to any of his basketball games?
No, she told me that her uncle signed him up, and I told him that sports are my thing, and that was it. Not once. Basically, I thought she took him out of it. She told me practices, games, nothing. I didn't even know he still did it.
Isn't it true that your children need stability?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better for them to go to school in Stockbridge 3 minutes from their mother's house?
No, because that'd be like saying they go 3 minutes to Jackson schools.
You're comparing Stockbridge Elementary School to Jackson High School?
No, I'm comparing the distance from her house to that school to my house to another school. I agreed to Grass Lake because it's just in the middle, 15 minutes from her, 15 minutes from me.
So neither one of you are connected. Neither one of you lives in that community. Right?
Do what?
Neither, you don't live in Grass Lake. Right?
No, but my dad's whole family went to Grass Lake.
Okay, but you're the parent and she's the parent. And she doesn't live in
And
Grass
that's
Lake.
why No.
So rather than have your children go to school in a community in which they live, you think it's better and fairer to you that they go somewhere where they don't live?
I'm renting a house. I don't own a house.
Okay. Are you saying you're going to move to Grass Lake?
I'm saying that's a very high possibility. If my kids were going there, then yes. Then it'd be bus trips to and from home every day.
But you don't live there now.
No, ma'am.
Isn't it true that you encourage and allow others around you to treat Alexis with disrespect?
No, ma'am.
Isn't it true that when you went to pick up your personal property from the home in Stockbridge, that you took your brothers out there to intimidate Alexis?
No, that's all hearsay from her.
Well, didn't you take your brothers with you?
Yeah, along with the cops.
You called the police.
No, yes, the police escorted us, ordered by Ken. Ken had me have the police officers. There was 2 of them there that sat there the entire time while we loaded and unloaded and left.
And you thought that that was good for your children to see?
No, but Alexis wouldn't let me in to get any of my stuff without it.
So your stuff is more important than your children?
No, that the cops being there is the only way I got to see my kids.
So isn't it true that you've admitted to Shelley Dungan, the lawyer, guardian ad litem appointed by this court, that you allowed and encouraged your brothers to be disrespectful to Alexis?
No, I don't encourage it. I'm saying they've made comments, but they were addressed right then and there.
Okay, and is that in the presence of your children?
No, my brother's 13.
Okay,
My mom even chewed my brother out.
okay. So you swear at Alexis regularly in your text communications, correct?
Yes.
Is that how you speak to her during the parenting time exchanges when your children are present?
0 words are said.
Okay. And isn't it true that you yell at Alexis?
Have I yelled at Alexis? Yes.
Yes. In the presence of your children?
When we're together? Yes.
Okay. And isn't it true that you yell at your children?
Yeah, when they act up.
Okay. And you use corporal punishment on them?
I use a 3-step process. They go to the corner, then they get 1 swat to the butt, and then they go to the room. It all depends on how many times they act up.
When you
For
say a
that thing.
swat to the butt, is that to their bare bottom?
No. They're my babies. I'm not going to hurt them.
So you're in a relationship with Harmony. Isn't it true that you also yell at her?
No, ma'am.
Isn't it true that you have refused Alexis's request to talk to the children when they're in your care?
No. I answer her every time, and I tell her we're busy or something like that. She responds.
Isn't that a
Reaches
refusal?
out to me every day. What?
Isn't that a refusal if you tell them you're busy?
No, I tell her we'll get out of here in a little bit.
Okay, let's look at some exhibits. Look at exhibit L. See that text from February 22nd of this year?
Yes.
And she's asked you to have the kids call her, correct?
Yes.
And what was your response to her?
You'll get them tomorrow. Leave me alone.
Okay. So the next day, February 23rd, texted her again. It was after you did the exchange and took the kids back to her.
Can I read what I said to her?
Yeah, why don't you read it out loud?
Bring someone with you. Bring someone with you again, and I'll keep the kids. As we are court ordered, nobody's supposed to be with us when on the switch. I got pictures of them to go with the open CPS case. You really don't care, do you?
And she said,
First of all, I don't have anyone with me, and you brought Harmony with you on Thursday. That will be reported. Glad you have some bimbo around our kids.
and your response
Which-
was,
The bitch was sitting in the car next to you. I'm not dumb, dude. I had nobody with me. You clearly seen that.
okay, so that's how you jump to a conclusion when you see a car sitting next to her at the parenting time exchange?
No, the car sitting next to her was her friend that was accused of slapping him on the CPS case.
I'm sorry, and when was that?
Can I what?
When was this alleged CPS case?
February 23rd at 7:53 p.m.
I'm asking you when this alleged CPS case was.
Oh, the CPS case was, I don't know, the day that she called the cops and filed for harassment because of an exchange when I questioned her about the slap.
Okay, so are you saying that CPS is involved and has substantiated any of your allegations? Or just that you called
Yeah.
CPS?
Yeah, Ken called him.
Okay. So why have we not heard from CPS? Why has Ms. Dungan not heard from CPS?
That's why I assumed it's still open. I have no idea. They came to my house. They interviewed me. I told them everything that happened, showed them the text, showed them the proof.
And they haven't removed them from Alexis, have they?
No.
And that was 6 months ago?
Yes.
You look at Exhibit N, please.
N,
N is in Nancy. Can you read it out loud, please?
I want to talk to my kids.
And what was the date of
Sunday,
this?
I wanted to talk to them for 6 weeks. When you kept them from me, remember? Or you forgot about all that shit. They're safe and chilling. That's all you need to know. You'll remember come court time, don't worry. She said, you can't deny me talking to my kids. I said, rewind 6 months ago and look in the mirror. I'm not denying anything. They don't want to talk to you. I asked them if they wanted to talk. They didn't want to talk.
Well, you don't, so she asked you on Friday morning and you said, no, you have to wait until Sunday.
No, I did not say that.
Look at the top of the page. You said, I want to talk to my kids. You said Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Because she was asking you on Friday morning, middle of the day, to talk to him, and you refused. Right?
I didn't refuse. No.
Well, did you let her
I
talk
asked kids
to
they
him?
want to talk to her.
So that was Friday. Did you ask him again on Saturday or Saturday night or Friday night or Sunday morning? I'm sorry, I didn't
What?
hear your
No.
answer. No. So you're not encouraging their relationship with their mother, are you?
No, because they just kept from me for 6 weeks.
Okay, so
So
something
they
that
didn't
you say happened, last fall, you're gonna punish her forever, is that right?
That wasn't last fall. That was this year.
6 weeks? Aren't you talking about the fall of 2019?
No. 2020.
What 6 weeks in 2020 are you talking about?
He picked them up from daycare on my day and kept them from me for 6 weeks because there was no technical court order.
There was a court order in late 2019. So you're talking about,
yes.
so you're talking about something that happened before the friend of the court issued the temporary order, right?
Yes.
So in April, you're still punishing her for something that happened back then, right?
I'm not punishing her. I brought it to her attention.
Okay. Let's look at Exhibit O. She asked you down at the bottom of the page on April 8th that she wanted to talk to the kids, didn't she?
Yes.
You didn't respond, did you?
I said they were sleeping. You'll see them on Sunday. It's right
Well,
at the
that was
bottom, right
on
below it.
Wednesday. Wednesday, she asked you and you didn't respond.
Yeah, I did. She deleted it. It's gone.
Okay, and you asked them on Thursday. Can you go to the next page and read your response, please, in full?
They're sleeping. You'll see them on Sunday, so stop contacting me. P.S. Easter is my day, Sunday. So contact your lawyer for any legal advice because 7:30 p.m. just got pushed off to 8 p.m. unless you don't want to show up again, then I'll just keep them like Millie's birthday.
Can you look at the next page, please? So now this is on Saturday, the 11th. She asked again, and how did you respond?
They're sleeping. You'll see them tomorrow. P.S. Who got recording of me, LMAO, need my autograph it for the faggot name. She got somebody recording me out in public with the kids.
So you're in public, right?
We're at a gas station.
Okay. So you never let her talk to them then, did you, that whole weekend?
Yeah. She got pulled up her call record for you to see that.
I
Saying
didn't
that
understand.
you did let
Hold
her.
on. I didn't understand that last answer, sir. Could you say that again?
Oh, can you repeat the question?
I missed
said, yes,
it.
you
I'm
gotta pull up
sorry.
her call log.
I missed it, whatever it was. I guess, Ms. Fleming, do you remember what the question was?
I believe the question was, so you didn't let her talk to the kids the rest of the weekend, did you?
Then no, you would have to pull up the call log. Not really sure how to answer that. Like, there's multiple times where I did have them call to her. It's not being shown.
So your answer is yes, you did let them talk to her.
Yes. See, I don't understand the question, sorry.
So you're in a relationship with Harmony. You've stated that. And you intend for it to be permanent. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think it might be a good idea at some point to introduce Harmony and Alexis to each other?
Yeah, but it's court order. Nobody's supposed to be in contact until it's all said and done.
Well, there's an order that says that there are not supposed to be any third parties present at parenting time exchanges, but there's no order that prohibits them from meeting each other on any other occasion.
They can meet each other today if they want.
My question to you, sir, as you who has the wife and the expectant girlfriend, do you think it's a good idea that perhaps they should meet?
Yes, of course. It's not allowed to.
I'm sorry?
Yes, of course, I'm not allowed to.
You think that the order that says no third parties at exchanges means that you can't introduce them?
No, that third party, that's just on the exchange of the kids.
Okay. But they can meet otherwise.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're adults. They can help each other out.
But you didn't arrange it.
No, because Alexis is mean.
Okay. You don't like following the court's order, do you?
I follow everything. That's why I don't want to introduce them, because I thought it was against the court order.
Okay. The court order that required you to participate in the conflict resolution counseling, you didn't follow that order, did you?
I didn't realize that it was a court order. I thought it was just something advised through the LGAL, which I tried following up on my kids' benefit before my own. More worried about Corbin taking counseling than myself.
So do you think you not introducing your expectant girlfriend and your wife, you're not going through this counseling, in your statement right now that Alexis is mean, do you honestly think that you and Alexis can co-parent and figure out how to send your kids to Grass Lake schools?
If she stops trying to hurt me, yes. We'd be greatest co-parents there are.
Thank you. I don't have anything further, Judge.
Ms. Duncan, were you interested in asking any questions?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Redirect, Mr. Hilderly?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jake, Ms. Fleming asked you about an incident that occurred at the daycare where Corbin was injured. Were you satisfied with the way it was handled by the daycare?
Yeah, because Alexis comforted me into, obviously everything being okay. The daycare paid the stitches outside of my insurance, and the kid that did it was removed.
And do you feel it's safe for him to continue attending that daycare?
Without a doubt. That's why both of them continued for over a year after.
And this appeared to be just an isolated incident. He hasn't had any other issues?
No, literally the only thing.
I was curious that the question was asked about that. Was there ever a time that Corbin was injured when he was in Alexis's care or the care of her family?
Yeah, he overdosed on methamphetamine.
Your Honor, this question exceeds the scope of direct and cross-exam.
From the medical report.
Hold on. Whether or not it does, the court has discretion to allow expansion of testimony, and I'm going to allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Was there a time where he was injured in Alexis's care or the care of her family?
Yes. She ended up taking him to her grandma's house, and he ended up overdosing on methamphetamines and amphetamines and spent 3 weeks in the hospital. It says already in the medical report.
How did that happen?
Her sister's an ex-heroin addict and now goes to the methadone clinic, and I guess she had a take-home dose or something, took it home. She puts the methadone in a water bottle, crushes up the Adderall, puts it in the water bottle, and they left it right on the table. My kids drink water, and so they ran up and, he chugged the whole water. It says in the medical report that it was under the grandma's care while Alexis was out mowing the grass.
I would object, Your Honor, to reference to a medical report, not in evidence, hearsay.
Sustained.
How do I get that medical report?
The incident involving the domestic violence charge has been brought up a couple of times. Can you just let the court know your side of the story on that incident?
Obviously, Alexis was unfaithful and we got back together. So then the second time, I had suspicions of her being unfaithful again. And I came home and she was talking to some guy on the phone and wouldn't tell me who it was. And she actually, ran away and locked herself in the car. So I got upset and I went in the house and I started packing all my stuff, and she came in the house and, she started hitting me, like girls do, hit slap. And I grabbed her 2 wrists, told her she's done hitting me, threw her hands down by her sides. And she got in, walked off into my son's room. Obviously, we were both yelling at each other. I packed my stuff. I left the house. I went to a mud fest, which she was supposed to go to until this incident. And 5 days later, I come back home, and that's when she told me that 2 days after that incident, she went to the hospital because I hurt her when I threw her hands down. She told them I tried grabbing her phone out of her hands, but basically because the false hospital report, which there was no injuries found, no pain medications, that it was procedure that I, had to get picked up, taken to jail. I went to jail for a day, and then Alexis bailed me out, crying, booing about even doing it and getting me locked up in the first place. So, but when I was released, I was on a 0 contact order, but, obviously it was all just nonsense. So, we didn't really follow up on the no contact order. And I went back to the house, and then all of a sudden, 3-4 weeks after that, is when she told me that her and the kids were going to a friend's house to help re-renovate it. The next day, I got a call from her dad saying, oh, sorry.
Objection.
Okay. All right, well, I got a call that my kids were at one of her family members. So I went to pick them up. That's when her, sister was so upset.
That's okay, you just,
But yeah, anywho, she found out that I was at the house picking the kids up. So she shot over to stop me from picking the kids up. And she attacked me again right in front of the kids. I showed the pictures to Shelly. I couldn't report anything because technically we were on a zero contact order. So nothing was, reported to the police, but it's all, right in pictures, and it was right in front of her dad and her sister. And I got the text, from both of them, tell me how messed up it was, blah, blah. Apparently from there, Alexis and her little friend that she was with went to her house and basically destroyed it and called the cops and stated that I did it, which by stating that put me at the house against the zero contact order. So that's when her grandma came home where I was at the whole time and told me that she called the cops and said all this and this and that. And her grandma, was like, okay, you might as well hurry up and get out because they're looking for you. All the charges were dropped because, her nor her friend showed up to court. Nothing, was stuck. Like, it was a false hospital report, led me to jail, and that was it.
there's been talk about the kids being in Stockbridge and how close it is and Grass Lake. I mean, if you had your choice, you would have them in school in Jackson where you live. Correct?
Yes. Oh, correct,
You're suggesting Grass Lake as a compromise.
Yes, because, like, for example, right now, the court order is, 50-50. So, okay, well, 50%, each way. I shouldn't be driving 40 minutes out of my way, when I have the kids, when Grass Lake's directly in the middle of my house, her job, and my job. You could put them all down on the map, and Grass Lake's dead center in the middle.
You had mentioned a period of time, 6 weeks, that Alexis kept the kids from you. During that period of time, did you ask to see the kids and talk to the kids?
Hundreds of times. Showed up to the house with the police officers, tried getting them, and, she wouldn't let me talk to them, nothing.
So she wasn't facilitating a relationship during that time between you and the kids?
What do you mean?
She wasn't trying to...
Oh, yeah, no.
Judge, that's all I have.
Okay, counsel, are you and your parties available at 8:30 Monday morning? My schedule's wide open.
I am available, Your Honor.
I can make availability.
I am available.
Ms. Duncan?
Yes, I'm available, Your Honor.
Wonderful, let's do it. Let's plan to meet back here 8:30 Monday morning, and we will, would you have any more testimony? Well, we did leave the record open on the videos. Maybe you can get that conveyed to Ms. Fleming and Ms. Duncan so they get a chance to look at that, and then we'll start with that if necessary on Monday morning. Otherwise, do you have any other testimony to present, Mr. Hilderly?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so once we resolve the video issues, then we'll be able to start with the defendant's case.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right,
thanks, Judge.
we'll see y'all 8:30 Monday morning.
Okay.
Have a nice
Thank you.
weekend, everyone.